नारायण हरि नारायण हरि नारायण हरि हरि नारायण हरि नारायण हरि नारायण हरि नारायण हरि नारायण हरि नारायण हरि बोल 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 नारायण हरि 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 बोल नारायण हरि 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 गुर हमरे रमण बिहारी हम है रमण बिहारी के रमण बिहारी के ठाकुर हमरे रे रमण बिहारी हम है रमण बिहारी के ठाकुर हमरे रमण बिहारी हम है रमण बिहारी के साधु सेवा धर्म हमारा साधु सेवा धर्म हमारा साधु सेवा धर्म हमारा साधु सेवा धर्म हमारा कामन दुनियादारी से कामन दुनियादारी से कामन दुनिया पावन दुनियादारी से। ठाकुर हमारे रमण बिहारी के। हम है रमण बिहारी के।
ठाकुर हमारे रमण बिहारी, हम है रमण बिहारी। चंदन है इस देश की माटी,
चंदन है इस देश की माटी। तपोभूमि हर गाँव है। हरवाला देवी की प्रतिमा। बच्चा बच्चा राम है। बच्चा बच्चा राम है। चंदन है इस देश की माटी। तपोभूमि हर गाँव है। तपोभूमि हर गाँव है।
हरमाला देवी की प्रतिमा,
हरवाला देवी की प्रतिमा।
बच्चा बच्चा राम है।
बच्चा बच्चा राम है।
शरीर मंदिर सा पावन,
हर शरीर मंदिर सा पावन।
हर मानव उपकारी है।
हर मानव उपकारी है।
जहाँ सिंह बन गए खिलौने,
जहाँ सिंह बन गए खिलौने।
गाय जहाँ माँ प्यारी है।
गाय जहाँ माँ प्यारी है।
मेरा शंख बजाता,
जहाँ सवेरा शंख बजाता।
लोरी गाती शाम है।
लोरी गाती शाम है।
हरमाला देवी की प्रतिमा,
हरवाला देवी की प्रतिमा।
बच्चा बच्चा राम है।
चंदन है इस देश की माटी।
तपोभूमि हर ग्राम है।
तपोभूमि हर ग्राम है।
हरमाला देवी की प्रतिमा,
हरवाला देवी की प्रतिमा।
बच्चा राम है।
बच्चा बच्चा राम है।
कर्म से भाग्य बदलते,
यहाँ धर्म से भाग्य बदलते।
समनिष्ठा कल्याणी है।
श्रमनिष्ठा कल्याणी है।
ध्यान और जप की गाथाएं,
राम और तप की गाथाएं।
कवि की वाणी,
ताकि कवि की वाणी है।
गंगा जलसा,
जहाँ का गंगा जलसा।
गंगा जलसा,
गंगा जलसा।
गंगा जलसा।
जहाँ का गंगा जलसा।
निर्मल है अविराम है।
निर्मल है अविराम है।
हरमाला देवी की प्रतिमा,
हरवाला देवी की
चरण सरोज रज निज मनु मुकुरु सुधारी बरनउ रघुबर विमल जसु जो दायकु फलचारी बुद्धिहीन तनु जानिके सुमिरौ पवन कुमार बल बुद्धि विद्या देहु मोहि हरहु कलेस विकार। जय हनुमान ज्ञान गुण सागर जय कपीसति लोक उजागर रामदूत अतुलित बल धामा अंजनी पुत्र पवन सुत नामा महावीर विक्रम बजरंगी कुमति निवार सुमति के संगी कंचन बरन विराज सुबेसा कानन कुंडल कुंचित केसा हाथ वज्र और ध्वजा विराजे कांधे मूज जनेऊ साजे शंकर सुवन केसरी नंदन तेज प्रताप महाजगवंदन विद्यावान गुणी अति चातुर राम काज करिबे को आतुर प्रभु चरित्र सुनिबे को रसिया राम लखन सीता मन बसिया सूक्ष्म रूप धरि सियहि दिखावा विकट रूप धरि लंक जरावा भीम रूप धरि असुर संहारे रामचंद्र के काज संवारे लाय सजीवन लखन जियाए श्री रघुबीर हरषि उर लाए रघुपति कीन्ही बहुत बड़ाई तुम मम प्रिय भरतई सम भाई सहस बदन तुम रोजस गावे अस कहि श्रीपति कंठ लगावे सनकादिक ब्रह्मादि मुनीसा नारद सारद सहित अहिसा जम कुबेर दिक्पाल जहाते कवि कोविद कहि सकै कहाते तुम उपकार सुग्रीवहि कीन्हा राम मिलाय राजपद दीन्हा तुम्हरो मंत्र विभीषण माना लंकेश्वर है सब जग जाना जुग सहस्र जो जन पर भानु लील्योताहि मधुर फल जानू प्रभु मुद्रिका मेलि मुख माही जलधि लांघि गए अचरज नाही दुर्गम काज जगत के जेते सुगम अनुग्रह तुम्हरे तेते राम दुआरे तुम रखवारे होत न आज्ञा बिनु पैसारे सब सुख लहै तुम्हारी सरना तुम रक्षक काहू को डरना आपन तेज संहारो आपे तीनों लोक हांकते कांपे भूत पिशाच निकट नहीं आवे महावीर जब नाम सुनावे नासै रोग हरै सब पीरा जपत निरंतर हनुमत वीरा संकट ते हनुमान छुड़ावे मन क्रम वचन ध्यान जो लावे सब पर राम तपस्वी राजा तिनके काज सकल तुम साजा और मनोरथ जो कोई लावे सोई अमित जीवन फल पावे चारों जुग पर ताप तुम्हारा है पर सिद्ध जगत उजियारा साधु संत के तुम रखवारे असुर निकंदन राम दुलारे अष्ट सिद्धि नौ निधि के दाता असवर दीन जानकी माता राम रसायन तुम्हारे पासा सदा रहो रघुपति के दासा तुम्हारे भजन राम को पावे जन्म जन्म के दुख बिसरावे अंत काल रघुबर पुर जाई जहाँ जन्म हरि भक्त कहाई और देवता चित्तन धरई हनुमत से सर्व सुख करई संकट कटे मिटे सब पीरा जो सुमिरे हनुमत बलबीरा जय 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 हनुमान गोसाई कृपा करहु गुरुदेव की नाई जो सत बार पाठ कर कोई छूट ही बंदी महासुख होई जो यह पढ़े हनुमान चालीसा होय सिद्धि साखी गौरी सा तुलसीदास सदा हरि चेरा की जय नाथ हृदय महडेरा पवन तनय संकट हरना मंगल मूर्ति रूप राम लखन सीता सहित हृदय बसहु सुर भूप सियावर रामचंद्र की जय पवन सुत हनुमान की जय उमापति महादेव की जय।
सच्चिदानन्दं
संस्थापकं वीरम् कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुम्। ईश्वर भक्ति भाव से बहती संस्कारों की धारा, भारत माँ की सेवा में गीता परिवार हमारा, गीता परिवार हमारा। ईश्वर भक्ति भाव से बहती संस्कारों की धारा, भारत माँ की सेवा में गीता परिवार हमारा, गीता परिवार हमारा।
Jai Shri Krishna. A very warm welcome to all the participants on weekly interpretation session on behalf of Geeta Pariwar. I, Tanushree Mehta, invite you all for the new beginning of 4th chapter interpretation, first part. In this first part, it's all will come to know the deeper meaning of yoga of knowledge as well as disciplines of action and knowledge. Now, let's move to the prayer. Prayer is formed to connect with God and seek blessing for oneself and for others too. It enlightens individual more mindful and grateful prayer. I would like to request Gayatri Kimachi from Kathmandu, Nepal, housewife, currently studying in L4 and serving as technical assistant in L1 and L2. Joined Geeta Pariwar in September 2023. Welcome, Deepa.
जय श्री कृष्ण जी। वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णो वन्दे जगद्गुरुं श्रीकृष्णो वन्दे जगद्गुरुं। जय श्री कृष्ण।
Thank you, Didi, for the melodious prayer. Lightening a flame makes everyone more full of positivity and energy. Everyone more humble towards Lord Krishna. Today, for Deep Prajwalan, I would like to welcome Shri Venkataramji from Tamil Nadu, homemaker. Hobby includes music, learning shlokas, traveling, fitness person, study till BCA, serving as DC since last September as L1, L2, and L3, and L4 also. Joined Geeta classes in April 2023. Welcome, Didi.
निषिद्धैरप्येभिर्लुलितमकरन्दो मधुकरैः करैरिन्दोरन्तश्छुरित इव सम्भिन्नमुकुलः विधत्तां सिद्धिन्नो नयनसुभगामस्य सदसः प्रकीर्णः पुष्पाणां हरिचरणयोरञ्जलिरयम् शरदिन्दुनिभां शुभ्रवस्त्रैरलङ्कृताम् कलहंसकृतावासां वरदां शारदां नुमः।
Thank you, Didi, for the divine and beautiful Deep Prajwalan. An announcement, a registration for new L1 batch started and it's going to start from 26th July. Kind request to share it with your friends, relatives, and make them part of divine learning of Bhagavad Gita. Now, it's time for the most awaited and most anticipated part of today's session, our distinguished speaker of today, Vikas Vaidya ji. Qualified till BE, MAC, VGDM, NRI for 12 years, have traveled all over the world owning a small IT company, staying in Pune, You all will be surprised to know that Bhaiya know languages like Hindi, Marathi, English, Indonesian, Malaysian, Spanish. Recited all 18 adhyayas of Gita every day since last over 5 years. Trainer in Gita Pariwar from L1 to L4. And involved in trainer selection and trainers mentoring from L1 to L4. Involved in teaching and vision of Vishnu Sahasranam as a member of Pune Gita Pariwar. Also guiding students of Gita Vrati to prepare for Shrungeri Peeth Gita exam. I'd like to call upon her for the 4th chapter interpretation, first parts. It's our honor to welcome you, Bhaiya.
जय श्री कृष्ण। परम पूज्य स्वामी जी के चरण कमलों में कोटि कोटि नमन। टुडे विल स्टार्ट न्यू चैप्टर, ज्ञान कर्म संन्यास योग, 4th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Let us discuss the background of this adhyaya first. You see, at the beginning of 3rd adhyaya, Arjuna had asked Lord Krishna, Jayasi chet karmanaste mata buddhir janardana tatyam karmani ghore man niyojayasi keshava. Krishna, if you think that the knowledge is superior to karma, jnana is superior to karma, knowledge is superior to action, then why do you urge me to do this ghastly karma of fighting a war which involves killing people morning till evening? So in response, Lord Krishna at length explained to Arjuna the importance of karma in the whole of 3rd adhyaya, and laying emphasis on the performance of action in all situations, by which a man can attain equanimity. In 30th shloka, Paramatma says, Mai sarvani karmani sanyasya adhyatma chetasa nirashir nirmamo bhutva yuddhasva vigata jvaraha. Lord says to Arjuna that surrendering all your karmas to me, Mai sarvani karmani, surrender all your actions to your karmas to me, and with discriminative sight, with your vivek buddhi, which is free from desire and ego, if you perform your action without any anxiety, without any mental agitation, that is the way to perform the action. Mai sarvani karmani sanyasya adhyatma chetasa nirashir nirmamo bhutva yuddhasva vigata jvaraha. Then 31st shloka, Paramatma says, Ye me matamidam nityam anudishtanti manavaha shraddhavanto rasuyanto muchyante te vikarmavihi. Paramatma says the sweet fruits following his advice of Mai sarvani karmani, what we gain if we follow Paramatma's advice. And then 31st shloka, Paramatma says, Ye tvetadabhyasuyanto nanudishtanti me matam sarvajnana vimudastan vidhinashtana chetasa. Those who don't follow this, they meet their own downfall. So these 3 shlokas, 30, 31 and 32, 30th, Paramatma says, follow these instructions and get rid of your karmas. Follow everything, offer everything to me, without attachment, without desire. Those who follow this advice, what they get, and those who do not follow, what they lose. So this was in the 3rd adhyaya. Then in the same adhyaya, Paramatma says, following your own karma, prescribed duty, how important it is. Shreyan swadharmo viguna paradharma swanishchitat swadharme nidhanam shreya paradharmo bhayavaha. It is better to die while performing your own duty. To that extent, Paramatma gives the emphasis on your swakarma, your prescribed duty. Then Arjuna asks another important questions to Lord Krishna in the 3rd adhyaya. Atha kena prayukto yam papai charati purushaha anichannapi varshneya baladivaniyo jitaha. By what a man is impelled to commit a sinful act? What forces him to commit the act against his wishes? Anichena. And the Lord replies, Kama esha krodha esha rajo gunasamudbhavaha mahashano mahapapma vidhyena miha vairinam. Lord replies, it is the desire, kamana, that is the root cause of all sinful act. Kamana is the biggest enemy. And then he asks Arjuna, एवं बुद्धे परम बुद्ध्वा संस्तभ्यात्मानमात्मना जय शत्रुं महाबाहो कामरूपं दुरासदम्. So this kamana being your biggest enemy, you should wipe it out. You should kill this enemy. So this was the end of third adhyay. Now though Lord Krishna's teachings continues till 43rd of shloka, Maharshi Vedavyas, while ending the third chapter, he ended at that shloka. Evam Bhute Param Buddhva. It shows that Lord, having answered Arjuna's question, takes a pause after 43rd of shloka and starts again in the fourth adhyay, the discipline of action, the karma yoga, discussion on karma yoga, which was being described in the earlier shlokas as well as in the, to some extent, in second adhyay also. Second adhyay, the two famous shlokas of second adhyay were karmanyevadikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana ma karma phala hetur bhur mate sangostva karmani, and 48th was yogasthakkur karmani sangam tyakva dhananjaya siddha siddho samo bhutva samatvam yoga uchyate. So these were included in second chapter. So second adhyay, third adhyay, major emphasis was on karma. Second adhyay, of course, is Sankhya Yoga. Most of the emphasis was on Sankhya Yoga. But there were several shlokas in second adhyay also which emphasized the importance of karma, including this karmanyevadikaraste. Now this discussion is being continued in the fourth chapter about the karma. And the fourth chapter starts with imam. Imam means this. What is this? This, the same karmanyevadikaraste, yogastu kar karmani, and all the discussions which were there in third adhyay. That is called imam, this. Therefore, the fourth chapter is regarded as an annexure, as an appendix to the third chapter. Now, there are two important factors pertaining to the karma yoga, discipline of action. First is the performance of action itself. And secondly, the special knowledge as to why this action is to be performed. What is the importance of this action? So these are the two aspects of karma yoga. One is the action per se, performance of action per se, and second, the knowledge about that action which is to be performed. What is the importance? Why we should do this? So Arjuna wants to, he wanted to renounce performance of action. He didn't want to perform the action of fighting the war. So he said to Lord Krishna, why do you ask me to get engaged in this savage deed of fighting war? And therefore, Lord says he lays special emphasis on the performance of duty, especially in the third chapter. While in the first chapter, now Lord will impart knowledge about the action, why those actions are necessary. Third chapter is devoted to performance of action. Fourth chapter, Paramatma explains the reasons, the knowledge about those actions which he is asking Arjuna to perform. Lord says, I shall now tell you such actions after knowing which you will be liberated from this evil. Evil means the wheel of birth and death. Now this karma yoga, in spite of being without beginning, was lost in the world. A long lapse of time because of absence of some scholarly teachers, some gurus, sages. Since nobody could impart it later, the Lord in the first three shlokas of fourth adhyay is describing as to now karma yoga was handed down from ancient times and how he is now giving that to Arjuna. So we start with this reading of fourth adhyay. Om Shri Paramatmane Namaha. Śrīmad-Bhagavadgītā Adha Chaturtho Dhyayah. Shri Bhagavanuvacha. Imam Vivasvate Yogam Proktavahanam Avyayam Vivasvan Manave Praha Madhurikshva Kave Bravi. Paramatma says, I thought this imperishable karma yoga to Vivasvan. Vivasvan means the sun god. I taught this imperishable karma yoga first to Vivasvan. So that means you are not the first person to whom I have taught this karma yoga. Vivasvan, Surya, was the first. And then Surya passed it on to his son Manu. Manu passed on to his son Ikshvaku. So this way it translated to the generation by generation and it came down to different generations later on. Imam Vivasvati Yogam Proktavahanam Avyayam. The king, such as Surya, Manu, Ikshvaku, who have been mentioned by Lord, they were the householders. They were having families. They were the householders. And they attained perfection through the discipline of action. That means through Karma Yoga. Leading a householder's life, not leading the life of a sannyasi or a yogi per se, but leading the life of a householder. Therefore, these words, Imam, Avyayam, Yogam, this imperishable yoga, stands for Karma Yoga. Now, Karma Yoga has been described in Puranas, in our historical records, and also in Upanishads. Also, but Gita is the place where it has been described in more details. Bhagavad Gita, some people consider Gita as Karma Yoga only, explanation of Karma Yoga only. So, Karma Yoga has been explained at length in Bhagavad Gita. The Lord is eternal. His fragment, that means our soul, is also eternal. And so is the affinity of that soul, our Jivatma, to the Lord, because it is a fragment of Lord only. Therefore, all the disciplines, whether it is discipline of action, that means Karma Yoga, whether it is discipline of knowledge, that means Jnana Yoga, or whether it is discipline of devotion, that means Bhakti Yoga, all are eternal, like Paramatma. Avyayam. Avyayam is all avinashi, imperishable. Karma Yoga is also eternal, imperishable. Now, the affinity of soul for the God is also eternal. Because it is fragment of God, God is eternal, so Jivatma is also eternal. And that affinity of soul with God is also eternal. But when he accepts his affinity to the perishable actions, our Jivatma, when he accepts his affinity to the perishable actions, that means the worldly actions, objects and incidents, then he does not realize his eternal affinity to the God. He gets involved in the Maya of Paramatma. And then he starts identifying himself with the actions, with the objects of this world, forgetting about his affinity to the God. Therefore, a Karma Yogi, in order to renounce his assumed affinity to the world, it is a wrong thing to get affinity to the world. Our affinity should be to the God. So a Karma Yogi, in order to renounce, to give up his assumed affinity to the world, he utilizes his body, senses, mind and intellect, Shri, Indriya, Man and Buddhi, for rendering the service to the world. Same instruments are used, which were earlier used for worldly pleasures. Now the Karma Yogi uses the same instruments, Shri, Indriya, Man, Buddhi, for offering services to the world, by regarding them as belonging to world. Shri, Indriya, Man, Buddhi, a Karma Yogi thinks these are given to me for serving the world, not for serving myself. He thinks that just as the smallest particle of dust is a fragment of huge earth, small particle of dust is a part of huge earth, so is the body, a fragment of the vast universe. So our body is like a small piece of dust in the whole of universe. By accepting this belief that I am a part of universe, my body is just a particle in this universe, karmas will be performed. By accepting this belief, karmas will be performed for the world only, not for the self, because we have accepted that I am a part of this universe. This body is a part of the universe and it's not mine. So the actions will perform for the universe, for the world. While yoga will be performed for the self. Yoga is connection with Paramatma. Yoga is connection. To perform the actions for the world, karma, in the process, you get connected with the God, yoga. So Karma Yoga. Now when it says Vivasvate Proktavan, the Lord wants to explain that the sun in the solar system, while performing its action by providing heat and light, remains unengrossed. Similarly, all the strivers, all the sadhaks should perform their actions without attachment and accept the available circumstances as they are. They should also impart this teaching of Karma Yoga to others for the public welfare by remaining equally unengrossed. That means without desire for the fruits of the karma, without a sense of my, and without attachment. Vivasvan manave praha manrikshva kave bravit. Karma yoga is the main course of action for householders, as we discussed earlier. Out of brahmacharya, grihasthashram, vanaprasthashram, sannyas, all these 4 ashramas which are prescribed, grihasthashram, these people, they can follow the path of karma yoga. A householder, by performing his duty, can easily realize the God. He doesn't have to go in for sannyas. He doesn't have to go to forest. While performing his day-to-day duty as a householder, he can realize the God. That is the beauty of karma yoga. He need not change the order of life. Lord Krishna, in mentioning the names of kings such as the sun god Manu, Ikshvaku, he wants to emphasize that at the beginning of creation, they as householders, having slain desires, even of desires, they realized the God. Lord Krishna and Arjuna were also householders. They were married, they were having their own families. Therefore, Lord Krishna, through Arjuna, is telling all of us, the entire humanity, all householders like us, that they can realize the God as householders. You don't have to go to forest for this. You can live in your own house and still attain God while performing your day-to-day activities. As simple as that. So, in spite of being a householder, Arjuna thinks that it is better to live in this world even by begging rather than performing this ghastly work of fighting the war. Shriyo bhaksham pimo loke. That is the second adhyaya Arjuna has said. That is better, Arjuna has said, that is better that I do begging and spend my life begging, and then I can live my life by begging instead of fighting this war against my own relatives, my friends, my gurus. He thinks that the renounced order of life, that means sannyas, is superior to the household life. Therefore, the Lord says to him that he is a noble householder of the royal family of Pandavas. So, performance of actions, karma yoga, will lead him to salvation, to liberation, in the same way as the sannyasi leads to salvation by performing tapas. Destination, what a sannyasi will achieve, and the destination which you as a householder will achieve is same: salvation, liberation, moksha. He will perform his duty, you perform your duty. Karma yoga consists in utilization of available circumstances. So karma yoga, the discipline of action, can be followed by people of every caste, every creed, every sex, and any country, from anywhere. So the Lord has mentioned the names of noble and influential kings of the past, sun god, Manu, Ikshvaku, and all that, so that the people may draw inspiration from them. That if they have done it, probably we also can try it and do it and perform our actions. With this, we go to the second shloka. Evam parampara praptam imam rajarshayo viduhu sakale neham mahata yogo nashtah parantapo. Evam, thus, parampara. Parampara is the succession, parampara. Praptam. Praptam is to receive. Rajarshaya. Rajarshaya, saintly kings. Kings who are saints also. Vidu. Vidu is to understand. Kalena. Kalena, in the course of time. Iha. Iha means this Iha loka, Manushya loka, this world. Mahata. Mahata means great. Yoga. Yoga, the science of relationship of getting one with Paramatma. Getting connection with Paramatma is yoga. Nashta. Nashta is destroyed, scattered, lost. Parantapa. Parantapa is calling for Arjuna. One who gives tap. Tap means tension to his enemy is called Parantapa. So Arjuna was a person who was giving stress to his enemies. So he is called popularly as Parantapa. So Paramatma says in this shloka that this yoga handed down thus from generation to generation in regular succession came to the royal sages, Rajarshis, saint kings. But through long lapse of time, it got lost in the world. Yogo nashtak parantapo sakale neha mahata. sakale neha mahata yogo nashta parantapa. We'll read third sloka also, and then we'll discuss these two slokas together. स एवायं मया तेद्य योगः प्रोक्तः पुरातनः भक्तोऽसि मे सखा चेति रहस्यं ह्येतदुत्तमम्. Some is the same. Eva, certainly. Ayam is this. Maya by me. Adya means today, now. Prokta means spoken, told. Puratan is very old. Bhakta is devotee, of course. Asi means you are. Sakha is friend. Rahasyam, secret, mystery. Uttamam, best. So Paramatma says in this shloka, Sa evayam maya tidya yoga prakta puratana bhaktosi me sakha cheti rahasyam yataduttamam. That very ancient science of relationship with Supreme Paramatma, relationship of Jivatma with Paramatma, that's very ancient science, that is Karma Yoga, is today told by me to you. Adya means today. In third chapter, Paramatma has given entire knowledge of Karma Yoga to Arjuna. He is reminding him of that today whatever I have told you about Karma Yoga, this is the very ancient science of relationship of the Jivatma with Supreme, with Paramatma, is told by me to you today. So that because you are my devotee, Bhaktosi me sakha cheti rahasyam yetaduttamam. You are my Bhakta, you are my devotee, and you are my friend also, Sakha, so close. So we have two relationships. You are my devotee and you are my friend. So that is the reason I have imparted this knowledge to you. It is a very ancient knowledge. And then this is the best of mysterious knowledge. Uttamam, best, superior, most knowledge, and mysterious also. Many people don't understand it. It is mysterious that way. So, evam parampara praptam rajarshya vidho sakale neha mahata yogo nashta parantapa, and sa evayam maya tedya yoga prakta puratana bhaktosi me sakha cheti rahasyam yetaduttamam. Lord says to Arjuna that I am now relating that very supreme knowledge which is utmost mysterious to you because you are my devotee, my dear friend. Now in this adhyaya, Lord Krishna begins to unfold that mysterious and exceedingly complex supreme knowledge to Arjuna. He commences by saying that it was he who first imparted this profound knowledge to Surya, sun god, who then related to this his son Manu, and Manu passed it on to his son Ikshvaku. Then for a long period of time this knowledge was lost, but now Shri Krishna says, I am revealing this mystery to you, Arjuna, because you are my devotee and my endeared friend, very, very close friend. Now, let us remember that in these slokas, Shri Krishna is not talking from the level of an individual self, but rather he is addressing Arjuna from a higher level of the cosmic self. There is a difference. Krishna sitting in front of Arjuna in his chariot is an individual self. But Krishna, when he says, I gave this Karma Yoga to Sun God, that I is not the I who is sitting in front of Arjuna, but that I is the cosmic self of Krishna. The Krishna sitting in front of Arjuna is the Maya of Krishna only. It is the manifest of Krishna's Maya only. But the Krishna who gave this knowledge to Sun God, that Krishna is the cosmic self of Krishna. He is not talking from the respective. So it is like, Krishna is not talking from the perspective of a finite drop, but rather he is the boundless ocean itself. Moreover, there are such diverse aspects and interpretation of Gita that it appears as a text of Vedanta to somebody, at places like a scripture of devotion, bhakti to somebody, and for some it appears as a Karma Yoga. So how you see at Gita, that way you find out whether it is Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, whatever. It depends on how you see it. It has held a different significance for different personalities. For Bal Gangadhar Tilak, Gita was about warfare. Whereas for Gandhi, Mahatma Gandhi ji, on the other hand, the Gita was a text promulgating non-violence. He was a pujari of non-violence, Mahatma Gandhi. So for him, he says Gita is non-violence. The Gita was a scripture of Vedanta for Shankaracharya, but Acharya Ramanuj, he regards Gita as a text of devotion to the Lord Vishnu, wherein the Lord incarnates as Shri Krishna and liberates Arjuna by relating to the most supreme knowledge. So these shlokas have been interpreted according to people's diverse convictions and viewpoints. In this shloka, Krishna says that it was he who had imparted the knowledge to Surya. Now many people think Surya refers to the sun that we see every day. Sun rises and sunsets. So Krishna is referring to that sun which we see every day, sunrise and sunset, the principal star of our center of our solar system. But the sun that we see every day, does he have ears to listen to the Karma Yoga? Does he have a mind or an intellect that it will understand what someone is saying to him? So how could knowledge have been imparted to an inert object? The meaning of this shloka is much deeper and complex as well. Surya refers to some evolved being, evolved soul, who is suffused with the light of knowledge. Maybe it is the manifestation of Surya only. Like Lord Krishna is a manifestation of Lord Vishnu. So this elevated, evolved being who is suffused with the light of knowledge, maybe he was also a manifestation of Surya only. So we need to note that Surya does not refer to the inert star, the sun that we see every day. There are many beliefs in the reference to the sun and the moon. Some believe that each of them have their own loka, Chandra loka, all the lokas are there. And deities and sages reside in their subtle forms with these celestial bodies. It is true that apart from our visible world, there are other subtle realms where other beings at different stages of evolution, they stay, they live. See, the world is not limited to what you and me can see with our eyes. There are subtler realms which we are not aware of. Thus, is Krishna talking about inner geographical entity called the sun present in our Milky Way? Or is he referring to some subtler form from some subtler realm? Is he referring to some other world which we do not know? This is a food for thought. To which sun god did Lord Krishna explain this Karma Yoga? Definitely not to the sun that we see rising and setting every day. He gave it to sun. He gave it to sun god. But that sun god is one who has his own chetana, he has his own intellect. The sun that we see every day, it is an inert object. Like earth, it's an inert object. So it must be the human manifestation, the manifestation or the godly manifestation of sun, to whom Lord Krishna has given this knowledge. There is much more to this world than our limited understanding. Things are much more complex. The first thing we need to comprehend is that when Krishna says, I imparted this knowledge in the beginning to Surya, this I is not his individual self, but rather the cosmic pure self, the I of Parabrahma. That is I, which Krishna is referring. You see, there are trillions and trillions of beings residing on this planet, and each one has its own I. Even animals have their own I. Even the birds have their own I. Every living thing has its own I. The supreme Chetana that resides in each and every being, within and without every atom, that supremely awakened consciousness is the essence of Krishna. That I, which is present in trillions and trillions of beings, is the essence of Krishna. So there is one form of Krishna seen as an individual self. individual personality called Shri Krishna, then there is Krishna's cosmic self, the divine Krishna. In Gita, both Krishnas we read. At some places, Krishna says as a person. In many places, Krishna says as his cosmic self. Vyakta and Avyakta. These are the two forms of God which are described in Bhagavad Gita. And Sri Krishna established firmly in the infinite supreme Parabrahma is speaking from the level of the cosmic self and saying that I imparted this knowledge first to Surya God, Sun God, before the creation of this universe. And then Surya passed it on to Manu, who was supposed to be the first human being on this earth, Manu, as per our Hindu scriptures. And he in turn gave it to Ikshvaku, his son. The important point here is that the existence of knowledge has been present right from the time of this creation of universe. That is, both have always coexisted. The tradition of passing on the knowledge occurs side by side to the Maya creation of the world. Maya created this world. And Maya, people say it is all darkness. Nobody understands what is Maya. But with the existence of Maya, the knowledge also existed together. Both were coexisting. So, if there is darkness of ignorance, then there is coexisting light of knowledge to dispel that darkness. Both are present at the same time. So, darkness has never existed independently. And it will never happen that only darkness will prevail. The light of knowledge always coexists. The flame of knowledge never extinguishes. Although it is another matter as to how many human beings will receive this light of knowledge. How many will be able to dispel their darkness of ignorance with this flame of knowledge? But it existed. Darkness never existed alone. It always existed with the flame of knowledge. The Lord says this knowledge is mysterious. And at times it appears as if it is lost in the world during the succession. But that is not the case, honestly. The knowledge never disappears. And even if it were to happen that there won't be a single enlightened person with that knowledge left in the universe, yet such is the power of this knowledge that in due course of time, another wave will arise in the ocean of knowledge and awaken some other person or other who will get enlightened and will again pass on this knowledge to his next generations. Knowledge is absolutely complete in itself and totally independent. That is why Parabrahma is Gyan, knowledge. Brahma is Gyan. Brahma is nothing. Brahma is Gyan, knowledge. And it can manifest in any antakaran. Gyan can manifest in anybody's antakaran. In any eye, it can manifest. This light of knowledge can shine in any ordinary eye. It is distinctly possible for the knowledge to blossom in any ignorant eye as well. The Lord is saying to Arjuna that I am revealing the same eternal yet mysterious knowledge to you, which I had related to Surya long time back. Yes, the knowledge is exceedingly mysterious, yet nowadays we buy the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita for a few rupees. Paramatma is talking of knowledge which is mysterious. People do not know how to use this knowledge, how to acquire this knowledge. But now we buy Bhagavad Gita even sometimes for free. In this context, let us understand that in ancient times, there was no concept of transcribing the knowledge into text. That was the practice during those days. The masters would simply pass on the knowledge to the worthy disciples, and the disciples would then carry on with this tradition and they'll pass on to their disciples. It was only when in due course of time, the Rishi Munis, the sages felt that there were not any capable disciples who could retain the knowledge given to them verbatim in their mind, then they started transcribing on the tree barks and the leaves. And Vedas were transcribed around 80 to 90,000 years back. Whereas if you see the period of Lord Krishna, it spans on the earth maybe around 6,000-7,000 years back. Lord Krishna is saying that it was he who imparted the knowledge to Surya more than 80,000 years back. So if this I is certainly not related to any individual character or body. This is not related to the Krishna who is sitting in front of Arjuna. This is the cosmic Chetana of I, cosmic Chetana of Lord Krishna, Krishna Chetana. This explanation of Gita occurring through this body and mind, which we are discussing today, or what we discussed every Saturday or Sunday, thanks to Gita Pariwar, we can say that it is Krishna who is speaking in these Vivechanas. It is Krishna Chetana that is explaining this word, these shlokas. The Krishna Chetana residing in you is now covered by the layers of ignorance sometimes, and the efforts of this Vivechan Satras of Gita Pariwar are geared up to pierce those layers of ignorance, so that the Krishna Chetana within you and within me both come out. I by speaking, you by hearing. So our Chetanas from our inside have to come out, manifest, and are to be born. Although, note that there is no birth or death in the reference to the Supreme Chaitanya. Chaitanya never dies, it never gets born. There is an incident in Maharamayana, wherein in one morning during Brahma Muhurta means nearly 1.5 hours before the sunrise, Lord Rama was meditating, and Kala means the Lord of Time, manifested, and he asked Rama, I wish to have some dialogue with you. Will you permit me to do so at this hour? Lord Rama replied, please wait a little, for I will depute someone to stand outside this door to ensure that we are not disturbed during our dialogue. Then Lord Rama called Lakshmana and he said, neither you enter nor allow anyone else to enter when we are discussing. I am about to perform some secret practice. So Lakshmana answered, brother, your wish is my command. I will follow your instructions in toto. Then the dialogue between Lord Rama and the Kala, the Lord of Time, it began with Kala, the Lord of Time, asking Rama, as per the time you incarnated on this earth in human form and did all that you have come here to do, fulfill the aim of your human incarnation. The lifespan of your body is now drawing to an end. Please grant me permission as to when I can come and complete my task of taking away this body. See, the life of an ordinary person is lived unconsciously, in ignorance. And the same too goes for his death. Why we are born and why we die, we don't know. But those whom we call divine incarnations, for them, this does not hold true. In fact, they themselves decide when they wish to leave the body. This was the topic being discussed between Lord Rama and the Kal that time. See, to make the mysteries, some pointers need to be given. So do not cling to the words that imagine Kal is the god of death, what Yamaduta or Yamaraj we see on the TV screen. That Kala is different what TV screen shows. So through this story, small story, the profound indication is being conveyed that whatsoever has manifested with the passage of time, its decline and destruction is imminent, is certain. Then be it Lord Rama's body or Shri Krishna's body. For incarnations like Krishna, we say that he became manifest, performed his Leela, and then became unmanifest. But at the level of body, the incarnations too are born and then they die. The crucial difference is that the ignorant people like us, we are completely unaware of birth and time of death. But an incarnation, an avatar, is fully aware and chooses when he wants to be born and when he wants to die. The point to note is that whatsoever that is born will die. Then be it the body of an ignorant person like us or the body of that incarnation. When Krishna says to Arjuna that you are my friend, he is addressing at the level of individual I. But when he says that it was I who imparted this knowledge to Surya, then that I is the cosmic self of Krishna, not the Krishna who is sitting in front of Arjuna. The analogy would be that of wave and ocean. You are that wave which does not know it is the ocean, whereas Shri Krishna is that wave which knows it is the ocean. So Krishna is an ocean. We are a drop in the ocean. And Lord is saying to Arjuna, I am revealing this complex knowledge to you as you are my friend and devotee. See, the Lord is just following the tradition whereby the knowledge has to be passed on from one heart to another, generation to generation, from one heart to another. So this is how it keeps transferring from generation to generation. Krishna gives to Arjuna. Now, how should one repay the debt of knowledge? The knowledge that we receive from someone, how should we pay the debt of that knowledge? Firstly, by incorporating the knowledge in your own life, transforming your life through it, and then pass it on to others, antakarana. Thus, all the enlightened masters are in effect repaying their debt by imparting the knowledge to others. An enlightened master, enlightened guru is like a rain cloud, which is heavily impregnated by moisture, and it has no choice but to rain. Lord Krishna too poured down as a rain cloud, and it is Arjuna's good fortune that he received these blessings from Krishna and acquired that knowledge. Arjuna was not the only who was endeared to Krishna. Draupadi, Kunti, Sudama, Vasudeva, Devaki, everybody was there. The gopis in Vrindavan were all endeared to him, and he played the game of love with all of them. But when it was time to play the game of knowledge, it was Arjuna who was fortunate enough to have received the supreme knowledge. Shri Krishna is that treasure house from which anyone can take anything they want. The gopis were satisfied in playing games with him. Sudama was happy in receiving wealth from him. Rukmini wanted to become his wife, and Krishna accepted her willingly. What's more, Shishupal wanted to be his enemy, and thus the Lord accepted him as enemy as well. And when Arjuna, caught in the dire state of dilemma, surrenders to Krishna as a disciple and requests Lord Krishna to alleviate his ignorance, Lord Krishna opens the door of this eternal knowledge for him. We now go to first sloka. Arjuna uvacha aparam bhavato janma vanai janva vivasvatah kathame tadvijaniyan tvado proktavaniti. Now Arjuna is perplexed. Lord Krishna is sitting in front of me. He and me are almost of the same age, some 5-10 years here and there. But he says, I gave this knowledge to Surya. How is it possible? So he is asking a direct question. Your birth is of recent times. Aparam bhavato janma. Your birth is of recent times. But the sun god's birth is long, long ago. It precedes your birth. So how am I to understand that in the beginning of this universe, you imparted this knowledge to sun god? How do I understand this? We will take next sloka also, and then we will discuss the slokas together. Śrīmad-Bhagavadgītā bahūni me vyatītāni janmāni tava ca Arjuna tānyaham veda sarvāni natvam vedta parantapa. Lord says, many births of mine and you have passed. Bahūni me vyatītāni janmāni tava ca Arjuna. You and mine, we have lived many lives. Many births we have passed. I can remember all of them, but you do not. You do not remember. We'll take some more slokas and we will discuss all this together, because the logic to be discussed in all this is almost similar on the same lines. Ajopi sanna vyatma bhutanameshvaro pisan prakrutim swamadhisthaya sambhavamyatma mayaya. Aja means unborn. Api, although, avyaya, indestructible, avinashi, imperishable, bhutanam, all living beings. Ishwar is of course Lord God. Prakritim, nature. Swam, of myself. Adhishthaya, being so situated. Sambhavami, to get incarnate. Atma mayaya, my divine potency, my internal energy. Atma mayaya. So Lord says that although being birthless, ajam, I don't get born. I am birthless, imperishable, immutable, and the Lord of all beings. Vajuvisanvetma bhutanami shvaropisan. I manifest in my divine form by virtue of my inherent divine power, my Maya, inert Maya. I manifest using my Prakriti. Further, Paramatma says, the two famous shlokas which every one of us know, Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata abhyuttanam dharmasya tadatmanam srijamyaham. Connected to it, Paritrāṇāya sadhūnāṃ vināṣāya ca duṣkritaṃ dharma samsthapanārthāya sambhavāmi yuge yuge. So in 7th sloka, Paramatma explains when he takes the birth, when he takes the manifested form. And in 8th sloka, Paramatma says, after taking that manifested form, what does he do? Arjuna, Lord says, whenever and wherever there is a decline in the righteousness, and when the unrighteousness prevails, I manifest at all such times. I manifest millennium after millennium, so as to protect the pious and destroy the scoundrels, as well as to re-establish the roots of dharma, the roots of righteousness. Arjuna's disbelief on hearing Krishna to say that it was he who passed on the knowledge to Surya is understandable. His disbelief is understandable. After all, won't that be a reaction of a person who you grew up with, states that he was present on the earth thousands and thousands of years back? Thus he asked Krishna that your birth is of recent time, whereas Surya has been present in for thousands of years. So how could you say that you imparted this knowledge to Surya? Lord replies, both you and I have had several previous births. Bahunime vyatitani. It is just that I know and remember all of them, but you don't. Moreover, I know not only my own previous lifetimes, but I know yours also. Krishna says, before he was born as Krishna, he had lived on this earth as different forms and as different personalities. The holy place of Badrinath is the place where Krishna and Arjuna performed their austerities in previous lifetime, tapa. And the same is true for Arjuna, who performed the tapa at the same place, Badrinath. For he was the Krishna's companion in earlier lifetime as well, and had performed the austerities by his side. See, the relationship is not confined to this lifetime alone. It is in fact a very old relationship dating way back to previous lifetimes. In Badrinath, the duo had performed austerities for a long period of time in the form of Nar and Narayan. As for the nature of the body, it has to perish at some time or the other, and they were no exception to that. So this whole thing is quite mind-boggling, and the intellect gets highly perplexed thinking of all these things. In Yoga Vasishta, Shri Ram asked Vasishta, why does the Maya delude the intellect? Why does the Maya delude the intellect? Vasishta replies, Rama, this Maya, it works like a giant wheel in which the birth occurs and the mind gets gripped by ignorance. But whenever anyone implores for help in order to emerge out of this ignorance, a guru appears from somewhere, like Geeta appears for us now, and guides that individual. The sage said to Rama, you had asked this question and I had answered you this question to you in our previous lifetime as well. So this play of master and disciple has happened so many times and is being repeated in this lifetime as well. Krishna says, I know all my previous lifetimes, but at the same time, I also know that I am unborn, that I am birthless, I am deathless, I am indivisible, I am eternal, I am imperishable, I am unchangeable. I am Atma and the Supreme Lord of all living beings. Now, those who see Krishna as being limited only to the personality called Krishna, who is driving the chariot of Arjuna, for them, this is the form of Krishna alone. And they think that this is the Lord of all beings. But again, let us know it clearly that in this context, Krishna refers to the all-pervasive, boundless, eternal, supreme Parabrahma. Sri Krishna's body manifested from Maya, same way as your and my body has come from Maya, manifested from Maya. The only thing is, Krishna knew it, we don't know it. The Lord says that every time, whenever there is a decline or destruction of dharma, I manifest in order to destroy the adharma, unrighteousness, and re-establish the dharma. The question is, did every person benefit, gain knowledge from Sri Krishna when he appeared in those times, when he came into his manifested form? The answer is no. Why no? The fact is that Krishna Chaitanya can impart knowledge only to the one who is seeking the freedom from his sufferings, from his ignorance. Help and guidance is given only to the one who asks for it. Who wants to be liberated from the torture of ignorance, and not to all and sundry. Arjuna requested for freedom from his problems and was thus imparted the knowledge. And the same is true for Uddhava as well. But no one else, not even Draupadi or Kunti or Vasudeva, received this knowledge from Krishna. It is very important to understand the meaning of these slokas. For even today, there are many who believe that it is only when the Lord will manifest that all the wicked will be destroyed and the pious ones will get liberated. Thus, these misguided people keep on waiting for the Lord incarnation. And there are people we see on TV also that they say that I am the next avatar of Lord Vishnu. There are some gurus who claim that I am the next avatar of Lord Vishnu. See, Maya is the force. And before our body appeared, we also existed in the subtle form like energy. Our body also was like energy. And when this body will die, all the elements comprising this body will again get merged with their respective counterpart in the nature. And we will again revert to the subtle form, unmanifested form. And display of unmanifest to manifest to unmanifest, subtle to gross, back to subtle, again gross, again subtle, has been happening since time immemorial. Energy to matter, matter to energy. This is what action, creation is all about. It is a play, no more than a play. What is birth? When a subtle manifests as gross, that is called birth. And when is death? When the gross reverts to its subtle existence, it is called death. So in effect, no one ever died. It is just the change of form that happens. Once Lord Buddha was asked, where will you go after death? Buddha replied, nowhere. I will not go anywhere. When Kabir was asked the same question, he replied, nothing is ever born and nothing ever dies. Birth is untrue. Death is untrue. The truth, on the other hand, is immutable, indestructible, eternal. This entire creation is a sheer amazement, honestly. Why go far? Look at our own body. What an example of incredible ingenuity. The left side of our body is controlled by the right side of brain. We know this. And vice versa. Who has designed this human body? It's simply marvelous. Such intricately complex neutral network and transmissions, which scientists are yet to fully comprehend. They have not understood why the left side of the brain controls the right side of the body and right side of the brain controls the left side of the body. Who is the architect? Who is the designer? Who is the creator? This mysterious creative force that the intellect can never comprehend, can never understand, is only called Maya. This is Maya, for which we don't find any answer. We say this is Maya. We don't have no answer. This is Maya. So with this Maya, that leads to the formation of 5 elements. Earth, water, fire, air, and ether, sky, Panchamahabhuta. And in turn, this Panchamahabhuta lead to the formation of entire phenomenal world. And you are born, that is, our gross body is born into this phenomenal world, not once, But many times before this also, Lord says, I manifest whenever there is a decline or destruction in dharma. Now, this is not referring to the external state of decline in the society. It does not mean that every time there is moral decay in the society, Krishna will appear as a manifest form. For if that is the case, then there is enough problem even today in the society. So why is not taking manifested form? But so many devotees continue awaiting the arrival of Lord. Every time there is this natural calamity or some disaster or the other, all the eyes look towards the sky, seeking the appearance of the Lord. Bhagavan Ajavabi. All this misconception is because of misunderstanding of this shloka. Whenever there is destruction of dharma, I manifest. This is a misunderstanding. But where does he manifest? In your own antakaran, in your own mind, intellect, chitta and ego. The awakening of consciousness in your own antakaran is the manifestation of Lord Krishna only. Our reading Geeta is in a way manifestation of Krishna in us. And this awakened Chetana eradicates our mental afflictions, destroys our tamo rajogunas present in our antakarana. Thus he imparts protection to the seeker, to his devotees. When the devotees evolves his individual consciousness, when the devotees, they evolve their individual consciousness and take it to such great height, their consciousness take it to such great height, wherein their individual Chetana, it merges with the cosmic Chetana. That is the incarnation of Krishna. Krishna, not necessarily every time he takes the manifested form, he can appear when our Chetana and the cosmic Chetana, they become one. That is the manifestation of Krishna Chetana. That is why don't look outwards. Don't seek the incarnate form of Krishna externally. Instead, look within. Although it is equally true that whenever the Supreme Chaitanya manifests as an individual form, that person will work towards the spiritual upliftment of the entire mankind. That person will also do the same, what your awakened conscious will do. It will protect the pious and destroy the evil. Thus, the incarnate Chaitanya works invariably towards the upliftment of mankind, whether it manifests in our antakaran or whether it incarnates as an individual form. So the devotees of Lord Krishna, they look outward and ask, when will the Lord manifest in the form? But the yogi, the jnani, he closes his eyes. He doesn't look outside. He closes his eyes and awaits Krishna Chaitanya to awaken in his heart. The I that is now glued to the body and mind, the I that now identifies with the body and mind, when this I gets established in the soul, in the Atma, in the real self, this very establishment in the real self is Krishna. In fact, the very meaning of word Krishna is Chaitanya. Okay, with this we go to the next shloka now. Shloka number 9. Janma karma cha me divyam evayo vetti tattvataha tyaktva deham punarjanma naiti mameti sorjuna. Lord continues. Lord says, Arjuna, one who knows the transcendental nature of my birth and divine nature of my activities. Janma karma cha me divyam. My janma is divya, my karma is also divya. One who knows this principally, he, upon leaving this body, such a one does not have to take birth again, as he attains unto me. Those who understand my divya janma and divya karma, they don't have to take birth again, Paramatma says. Now, who is Krishna? Krishna is the divine, the transcendental absolute truth, bliss, all pervasive, supreme Satchidananda. That is Krishna. The Lord says, first know who I am and who you are. Who are you? If you identify with your body, mind, intellect and take them to be as your identity, then this is nothing but ignorance. This is all Maya. First know who you are. Pierce this layer of ignorance, go within and see who you really are. As we discussed earlier, in the third adhyay, Indriyani paranyahur indriyebhyah param manaha manasastu para buddhiryo buddhe paratastu saha. The senses are superior to the body. The mind is superior to the senses. The intellect is superior to the mind. And the most superior thing is our Atma, Jivatma. Krishna is this Atma. And the one who realizes this and experiences this, for him, there is no more compulsion of birth. So, you have attained what you already have there within you. You need to attain what is existing already in you. And you have to throw away that which was never stuck to you. Your Shri, Indriya, Buddhi was never yours. You have to throw it away and get glued to the Jivatma, which you are really. See, you were Parabrahma, you are Brahma, and you can be nothing but Parabrahma only. But deluded by Maya, our minds to comprehend this, and wanting to be free of this ignorance, we seek Geeta or we seek Guru, who can uncover this veil of Maya. The Geeta or our master, our Guru, then shows the path of attaining the knowledge of that which always was there and which will be always there, the eternal, boundless, and absolute truth. The Lord says, my birth is divine, I am divine. Mind you, he is not saying that you are not divine. You too are equally divine. It is just that Krishna knows it, but we don't know it. He comprehends, he understands it. The game is all about understanding and not understanding, knowing and not knowing. The Lord says the one who knows this divine nature, who knows that he is not the perishable, changeable body, such a realized person is not born again. So let us bear in mind that in all these shlokas in this chapter, Krishna is speaking from the level of that all-pervasive, eternal, supreme Parabrahma. It is the supreme Chaitanya expressing through the individual called Krishna and revealing its essence, its very nature. Attaining Krishna, getting a glimpse of Krishna is not about getting a glimpse of his body. Krishna is still here. We keep discussing this. Krishna is still here. He abides in our Chetana. But we have confined our awareness to the level of our body. So it is going to be a journey of a drop seeking the ocean within it. The drop is not part of any ocean, but rather the ocean is within the drop. Krishna exists in our drop, in our Jivatma. Krishna exists. Krishna is the ocean. Our Jivatma is a drop in the ocean. The ocean exists in the drop. Krishna is not somewhere out there. He is right within you. However, the million-dollar question is, at what point do you cease and Krishna commences? Or whether it is only Krishna that exists and your existence is no more than a lie. What is the truth? Do we exist or we don't exist? Only Krishna exists. Furthermore, how do you interpret the statement, Krishna is within you? When we make the statement that Krishna is within you, does it mean that you are bigger than Krishna? For something to exist within you, that entity has to be smaller than you. If something is to exist within you, then that entity has to be smaller than you. So does this mean that you are greater than Krishna? See, I can hold this marker on my hand. This is in my hand. This is smaller than me, so I can hold it. So that means if I hold this marker in my hand, but is it possible to hold this entire house in which I am sitting in my hand? No. So when it is said that Krishna is within you, then does it mean that Krishna is as small as this marker? Does it mean that way? Does it mean that Krishna is as small as this marker in my hand? So how can the Lord be within you? If you think about it, the statement God lies within you sometimes may appear to be very silly or laughable. After all, can an ocean be accommodated in a cup? If the Lord abides within you, then you have to be the Lord of all lords. The Lord is within you, that means you are Lord of lords. Is it believable? Thus, we come back to the question, how can the God reside within you? Are there two entities that coexist, that stay together, that is you and the God? How is Krishna Chaitanya and you are Chaitanya one? Now, with the use of word Chaitanya, something may start getting slightly clear. This is because there is nothing bigger or smaller at the level of consciousness. Our Hindu Adhyatma says this question answers very beautifully, and it states that just as the fragrance dwells in the flower, likewise the God dwells within you. Can you separate fragrance from the flower? No. But at the same time, fragrance is distinctly different than the flower. And the flower is not the fragrance, and the fragrance is not the flower. Just as a reflection is seen in the mirror, now does the reflection actually reside within the mirror or behind the mirror? Or just it simply gives an impression of being in the mirror? Likewise, Krishna is within you. It is exceedingly difficult to describe the infinite things in words. Krishna is infinite. How can we describe him in words? The infinite absolute truth is simply too beautiful, too great to describe in words. Hence, the complex knowledge is being diluted so that our intellect may understand it. Understand that it is not indeed extremely difficult to understand. We should understand that this knowledge is really difficult to understand. To a devotee, the Gita is all about the individual person called Shri Krishna, proclaiming his superior divine existence, and that all beings should worship that form of Krishna. But in reality, the Lord is saying that something else. But what is the point in Krishna proclaiming to Arjuna, I am indestructible, I am birthless, I am deathless? Is Krishna imparting the knowledge to his own self? Or even if that was the case, how would that be of any benefit to Arjuna? Thus, let us know that Krishna is saying to the Arjuna, you are indestructible, you are birthless, you are deathless, and you are boundless. Your birth is divine. But due to influence of Maya, you don't know this. But the day you will know this truth, you will laugh and dance. Schopenhauer was a famous German philosopher from 1788 to something like 1860. He was the first Westerner philosopher to have read the Gita. It is said that when he finished reading of Bhagavad-Gītā, he danced, placing the text on his head and exclaiming loudly, what an astonishing song Gita is, what an amazing knowledge. And this Schopenhauer was known to be a downright pessimism. He was a pessimist. And a pessimistic person like him danced after reading Gita. That says a lot about Gita. And now in contrast with this, we, the Hindus, who have not even bought Gita. And even if we have bought it, we have not read it. And even if we have read it, we have not understood it. Or if we had comprehended Gita, we too could have danced in sheer joy like that person did. Okay, we go to next shloka now. Vitaragavayakrodha manmaya mamupashritaha bahavo jnana tapasa puta madbhava magataha. Paramatma says Vita. Vita means free from. Rag means attachment. Bhaya, fear. Krodha, anger. Mama, in me, upashrita. Upashrita is to take refuge. Jnana tapasa. Knowledge based on tapa, penance. Puta means becoming pious. Madbhavam, in my nature, in my state of being. Agataha is to attain. Paramatma says, being freed from attachment, fear and anger. Vita, raga, bhaya, krodha. freed from attachment, fear and anger, and being fully absorbed in me, taken refuge in me, many devotees, many people in the past became purified by knowledge about me, and then they all achieved my state of being. Bhuta madbhavamagataha. They achieved my bhava, my state of being. So in the earlier slokas, Lord has stated that the one who realizes his divine nature is freed from samsara's cycle of birth and death. And it does not mean that only Krishna's birth and karma are divine. Our karmas and our birth are equally divine. Because there is nothing that is not divine. Everything is divine. Everything is divine. So when it is one divine, transcendental entity pervading all the existence, then how can there be one division that something is divine and something is not divine? This is all Paramatma's creation, no? So everything is divine. And in this sloka also, the Lord is reiterating that one who attains his state of being is freed from the cycle of birth and death. And what is this state? Being freed of attachment, anger and fear. Having surrendered to Lord, purified by the austerities and knowledge, such a person attains the divine state of being. Lord is clearly saying they will attain his state of being. He is not saying that they will attain him, but rather they will attain his state of being. The difference is very vast between attaining Krishna and attaining his state of being. Attaining Lord, attaining Shri Krishna and attaining his divine state of being are not the same. The former reflects duality. The concept that God is someone else and the jiva, the individual self, will attain God by performing some kind of austerities. But Krishna is not saying this. Krishna says that many people, having been purified by austerities and knowledge, have attained his state of being. This means the state in which Krishna was is very much attainable to everyone. And if that is not happening, then it is not because of someone else, but because it is of your own fault. Those who are still attached and stuck down to their bodies and minds, what can such people attain? If you think that despite being tied down by the rope of attachment, you can attain the state of samadhi, then you are highly misguided or highly mistaken. Sri Krishna is clearly stating the prerequisites, the conditions that need to be fulfilled before one can attain his state of being. Cut loose of all attachments, completely cleansed of anger and freed of all fears. The second imperative condition, says the Lord, is taking refuge in me. Now here, Sri Krishna is speaking like a guru. And thus, by this, he means that it is crucial that you surrender to a guru, to the master. The fact is that even if you have become free of attachment, anger and fear, you will not attain anything if you have not surrendered to the guru, in this case, Krishna. Why is that? You may ask. Because those who, despite having broken free of all attachments, fears, angers, lack the sentiment of devotion, surrender and faith, they end up becoming dreadfully egoistic. They get their ego balloon like the earth. Thus, it is crucially imperative that Guru is there to hammer down your ego. The Guru is simply indispensable. Otherwise, you will become egoistic over anything and everything. You jump in triumph, having achieved very trivial, frivolous objects and success in our life. Whereas attaining freedom from attachment, anger and fear is no mean achievement. And imagine how much your ego will get swollen when you claim that I am free of attachment, free of anger, free of everything. So can you imagine the size of such an individual's towering ego if he lacks surrender and devotion? So surrender and devotion will come only when you surrender to Lord, you surrender to your Guru. Although Krishna's state of being is exceptionally outstanding and unique, it is nevertheless attainable. Paramatma says it is attainable, but conditions apply. Whenever we go for any instrument for investment, there is a small thing written, conditions apply. So here also conditions apply. What are the conditions? Certain prerequisites to be fulfilled, and the path of spiritual practice will have to be treaded with diligence, rigorous determination, and consistency. There is no alternative. There is no other way to attaining Krishna's state of being. So this is Jnana Karma Sannyasi Yoga. We have done up to 10th sloka. I think we should stop here and we'll take the further slokas in our next sessions. Thank you so very much for listening to me. Now the forum is open for your questions. Please feel free to ask your questions. Jai Shri Krishna.
Thanks a lot, Paya, for explaining us the deeper meaning of Jnana Karma Sannyas Yoga. Now it's time for the Q&A session. Before that, a new L1 batch will start on 26th July. So it was kind request to share it with your friends, relatives, and make them part of divine learning of Bhagavad Gita with clear pronunciation. So now it's time for the Q&A session. Please raise your hand on your videos and wait for your chance to come.
Feel free to ask your questions.
Yes, so please to raise your hands.
No questions.
Yeah, I have to think the same. Yes, Sunita ji. Unmute yourself, Didi.
Yeah. Jai Shri Krishna.
Jai Shri Krishna.
So, whatever we have heard so far, does it mean that even the human life we are getting on and again? We are not just born as human beings only once?
Yeah. There are millions of times, probably, we may get this human life again. Till the time we get our moksha, ultimately every jiva is destined to get moksha. Unless we attain that, our journey doesn't end. That is the last destination, which everybody has to go.
Okay. Only the thing is, we aren't aware of it.
Yeah, we are not aware of it. That's what Paramatma says, Bhavani me vititani janmani tavaja Arjuna. Tanyaham veda sarvani. I know everything. Natmam vetta param. You don't know. I know everything. You don't know. So this is the same status of ours also. No? We don't know. This is our which birth. Is it first birth as a human being or 10th or 15th? And how much we have crossed the distance towards Paramatma in every birth. Probably
that also we are not aware.
Yeah, we are not aware. But probably we have traveled some distance towards Paramatma. That's why we are reading Gita in this life. Otherwise, reading Gita and trying to understand Paramatma's message in Gita would not have been possible unless we have traveled some distance in our past life.
We can assume that we are
yes.
at least a little bit closer to, God or the Supreme Self.
Moksha. We are definitely marching ahead on the path of moksha. That we should be fortunate. That should give us enough confidence that we are on the right path.
Okay. Thank you, Guruji.
Thank you.
Geeta ji. Unmute yourself, Didi. Yes.
Jai Shri Krishna. In this ninth shloka, it says, those who know that I am Janma Karma Che Me Divyam Evayo Veti Tattvataha. The one who knows this essence will not be reborn. In some shlokas, there is he indicates that there can be no punarjanma, but in some other like it is contradicting where we have to go through several. So
Yes.
how do?
See, the only difference is why do we get trapped in the cycle of birth and death? Because of our karmas. Which karmas? Which are sakam karmas, which are creating a bondage on us. Anything creating a bondage on you, it brings you back to this cycle of birth and death. Anything which is not binding on you, then you are free. So, what we learn from Gita is we have to cut down these bondages. And Karma Yoga teaches us how to cut down these bondages and go into Nishkam karma. Nishkam karma is the karma wherein every karma of yoga viewers becomes a karma. A karma is the karma which does not create bondage. So our style of doing every karma should be such that it ultimately ends into a karma. You help somebody, don't expect anything in return, even a smile back from him, even a thanks from him, your karma has become a karma. No bondage. But the moment you expect a smile or a return or a thanks from him, your karma has become a sakam karma and it has put you under bondage. You help somebody financially, expecting that he will also help you financially, or he will return your money when you are in need. It is creating a bondage. If that fellow doesn't return, you will have to take the birth again. He will have to take the birth again.
Can
So
this
that you
bondage,
in the next birth, if not in this birth, in the next birth. So both get bondaged. That will also get bondaged, you also get bondaged. So do the karma and forget about it. Nishkam karma is the only way to get rid of this cycle of birth and death.
and how to the merge Naiti Mameti Sorjana, like he will be merged with the Supreme, that energy, not to
Say again, which shloka you are referring?
the same, he will be merged with me, Krishna says. The one who's.
You mean to say
Can
Janma
this
Karma
be,
Divya?
can this be
One
done with all three, Jnana Yoga, Karma Yoga, and
Bhakti Yoga.
Bhakti Yoga? With all three combination, can that
Paths are many. The destination is one.
one?
Which path is more suitable for you? We discussed some time back that Jnana Yoga is for people who have some higher level of intellect, which comes from previous samskars. Okay. So everybody is not born with great knowledge. A 3-year-old boy can recite the entire Gita because he has passed sanskars. But a 80-year man cannot read even 2 words of Sanskrit. It happens, no? We see it every day. So the sanskars do matter. And a person who is having those sanskars of jnana, he can follow the path of jnana yoga. But people like us, who are family people, and that's why this karma yoga we are studying 3rd adhyaya and 4th adhyaya, a part of 5th adhyaya also will be on karma yoga only. That for people like us who do not have much higher level of intellect, the best path of us, for us, is to follow the path of karma yoga.
Thank you. Yes.
Yes, Shri.
Taraji. Unmute. Yes.
Pranam Bhaiya.
Pranam.
I have a question. Like God resides in all the creatures. So what insects, all type of creatures. But some creatures like mosquitoes or cockroaches, insects, we kill them. So practically, is it actually correct or wrong?
See, if you don't kill cockroaches, you'll have to leave your house and go and stay in jungle, and your house will be occupied by cockroaches.
Yeah, that's true. That's what. But according to this thing, God resides in all the creatures. He's there even in the good and the bad. So
Yes,
while
yes.
doing that, practically it is not possible because we have to keep them under control. So while seeing the literal meaning of that, it is actually not. I mean, when
Yeah,
God
it is not
resides in
correct.
everything.
It is not correct to take jiva of any creature. That is a fact. But at the same time, when you have to live your life, suppose a robber enters your house, killing him or putting a knife in his chest is not correct. You are killing somebody.
Yes.
But if he is entering you and he is trying to attack you, you have no other option. So somebody
Yes.
who is harming your life, your existence itself, if you eliminate him, then you are doing it for your self-defense.
Yes.
So mosquito, if you don't get rid of mosquito, you may fall sick of dengue. And ultimately it may be the end of our journey.
Yes.
Have we lived the life so far only to die out of dengue? Just a small mosquito comes and ends our life?
No.
Or we have to attain something more than that?
Yes. Yes.
Isn't it?
Yes. 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 And
But for doing all this, the main objective should remain in our mind, topmost in our mind is that I am doing all this because I want to continue my sadhana, my meditation, and I want to attain Paramatma. Whatever comes in the way, I am going to eliminate. My only objective is to attain Paramatma.
Yes. Yes. One more
Yeah.
question, Bhaiya. One more
Yeah.
question. Actually, God says that we should not give importance to a physical appearance more for the body, but body is required for sadhana. But in society, in our workplace, when we go, for example, a small thing, applying hair dye, is it practically, correct or not? Just some small things.
To remain or to keep yourself good looking and attractive is not a crime. But don't fall too much in love of that. That is the only message. That don't fall too much in love with your body so that you start ignoring your main objective of life.
Okay.
Okay.
Because
So,
society, we should have some appearance also. Society
yes, of
expects
course.
that.
If you are living in society, you have to be presentable.
Yes, yes.
When you are talking to people, people should be respecting you. And that respect will come out of your presentation.
Yes,
Is it?
yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Your
Okay.
clothes, your facial expressions, your total physical appearance, they do matter. When you go to
Yes.
hear some nanny, if the nanny is shabbily dressed, unshaven or something, then probably your attention to him does not go that much deeper. But if he is presentable person, speaking good language and a presentable personality, then you definitely pay attention to him. So same thing is true for everybody else also. They will look at you when you are presentable, isn't it?
Yes, yes.
So nothing
Okay.
wrong in putting a hair dye, yeah? Don't worry.
No, I just wanted some practical questions because appearance, nowadays people give a lot of importance to physical appearance, the makeup or anything. And some has become a standard decorum in some places. So I keep observing people. That thought came to me that I want to ask that.
They overdo it. Overdoing it is not acceptable.
Yes, yes.
If bare minimum things, okay, fine,
Okay.
good.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ashutosh ji.
Jai Shri Krishna.
Jai
This
Shri
is
Krishna.
I would like to ask this second sloka, that is Sakale Neha Mahata Yogo Nashta Parantapa. But Yogo Nashta Parantapa, what does it mean? Actually, I don't get it.
Yoga Nashta. Yoga means this yoga. Which yoga? Karma yoga, which has been described in 3rd Adhyay. Paramatma says, Sakale Neha Mahata Yogo Nashta Parantapa. This Karma yoga, which I had told Shri, Surya Deva, then he told his son Manu, then he told his son Ikshvaku, all that in the passage of time, Kale Neha, it got lost somewhere.
Oh.
It did not get passed on to the next generation. So that yoga got nashta. It disappeared.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
E.F. Hirvani ji. Unmute भैया. हिरवानी जी unmute कीजिए भैया. I have sent
Hello.
the request. Yes, yes.
I am Hirwani. Hello.
हाँ जी बोलिए.
Bhaiya ji, actually, Akarm, you told me that when we don't have any expectation, and that becomes in Niskam, that becomes Akarm.
Right.
And then what is Vikarm? Then that I could not understand properly. Vikarm.
Vikarma is prohibited action. Once something karma which you are not supposed to do. You are not supposed to insult your parents.
Right. Anything
which are not which is not approved by our scriptures.
I see.
That is all vikarma.
Something. What we can say, we are not supposed to do, and that we are doing that. That will be vikarma.
Yeah, that is vikarma. Something which we are not supposed to do and we are doing, that karma gets converted into a vikarma. As I think we spoke it once, that if you are worshipping a goddess, so outwardly it is appearing as if it is a sanvik karma, which it is a good karma. Doing it without any selfish intent, that karma can become a karma. But if you are doing the same worshipping of goddess with the intention, saying the goddess that I offer you so much, I am worshipping you, please
Right.
eliminate my enemy. Please make him
Right.
bankrupt. If you say like this and then perform this puja of that goddess, then your
Thank
karma
you.
is becoming vikarma.
Thank you, Bhaiya. Thank you, Bhaiya.
Pushpa ji.
Jai Shri Krishna
Jai Shri Krishna.
and happy Guru Purnima
Oh yeah, same to you. Best wishes on Guru Purnima Day.
for all Gurus.
Yeah.
Okay, Guruji, I just want to ask one question. That
Yeah.
I'm actually Gujarati, married with Malayali. I'm staying in Kerala now.
Okay.
So here in Kerala, my mother-in-law is 90 years old, and she wanted always fish curry. So sometimes I keep Ekadashi fast, and that day also she wanted the same thing. So it is right when I'm making the fish curry for her, but I'm not eating.
Yeah.
So it's sometimes it get very difficult me to understand that whether I'm doing it right or wrong.
It is very right. Not only on Ekadashi, but any other day also, if you can avoid eating non-vegetarian food, it is advisable.
Yeah, I'm not eating. I'm not having a non-veg at non-veg at all. But my mother-in-law wanted always the non-veg fish curry.
She has been groomed eating into non-vegetarian food since her childhood, so she cannot live without that. And at 90 years of age, you can't expect her to change her nature.
Yeah, we can change her nature. That's right. But what I'm serving her this fish. So
See,
on the Ekadashi day,
do it as your kartavya karma and forget. Best way will be if you can ask your maid servant to cook for her and give it to her best way, so that you don't touch it also. But if it is not possible, then do it as a compulsion, under compulsion, and ask for a kshama from Paramatma that I have done it as a part of my duty as a good daughter-in-law. I have to serve this old lady who is my mother-in-law, and I am doing it only from that point of view. I have no asakti, I have no intention of eating that food which I am serving to her. Then you are free.
Yeah. Always I'm just doing prarthana for this only. I just get.
Then, so long as you are doing it as your kartavya karma, because suppose she does not eat anything, she will fall sick, no?
Yeah, that is right.
So that will also be a crime, isn't it?
Yeah, right.
So better continue doing what you are doing with this thing in mind, that I am doing it out of compulsion, not out of my willingness.
Sometimes I'm not feeling means very good by giving the fish on Ekadashi or some Monday vrat is there.
Yeah.
But it's my what to do. I have to give her.
Yeah. Basically, a Gujarati lady serving fish itself is a great wonder for me. But I should congratulate you. I should appreciate your commitment to your family.
It's become 30 years of marriage.
Gujarati, you are doing this act, which itself speaks that you are so much committed to your family. And this commitment is what Paramatma wants. But that commitment should not come out of your asakti, out of your attachment. You are doing it as your kartavya karma, prescribed duty. So,
Hope
limit.
Paramatma will forgive me.
Yeah. So always keep asking Paramatma for forgiveness, that I am doing it out of compulsion, not out of willingness.
Thank you, Guruji. Thank you very much.
Lalita ji.
जय श्री कृष्णा दीदी। जय श्री कृष्णा भैया। हम हिंदी में पूछ सकते हैं भैया क्वेश्चन?
जरूर पूछिए ना, हिंदी पूछिए।
हाँ ओके। ये ओल्ड क्लॉथ्स रहते हैं ना, वो उसको कैसा यूज करते हैं? वो फेंक देना या नहीं तो कुछ घर पहुंच सकते हैं, नहीं तो खिड़की वगैरह पहुंच के तो फेंक सकते हैं। ऐसा करे तो कुछ नेगेटिव एनर्जी आता बोल कह रहे हैं, वो फिर कैसा करना? वो ओल्ड क्लॉथ्स का क्या करना? मुझे
ओल्ड क्लॉथ का?
हाँ, ओल्ड कपड़े रहते ना, पुराने कपड़े, उसको कैसा यूज करना? वो उसको यूज करके फेंक दिए तो भी, घर पहुंच के फेंक दिए तो भी, नहीं तो खिड़की वगैरह डस्ट रहता ना, वो पहुंच के फेंक दिए तो भी उससे नेगेटिव एनर्जी आता बोल के बोल रहा। बोल रहे हैं, तो फिर वो कैसे यूज करना, उसको क्या करना बोल के
ऐसा कुछ नहीं
ऐसा
होता
है,
है।
क्वेश्चन है।
If you keep your house neat and clean, it will create
हम्म,
positive energy. Why it will create negative energy? The only thing is, if you instead of throwing that cloth, you can wash it and reuse it. Why do you keep on throwing it? You see, that cloth, till the time it is usable, you can wash it and use it. There are enough
वाह,
detergents available in the market now. So use that cloth
हाँ,
again and again till it totally get tarnished and you cannot use it anymore. Till that time you can go
हम्म,
on using it. Already you can't use new cloth and keep on throwing it every day. It will create a great pollution in the society,
ओके,
isn't it?
ओह, ओके, फिर नेगेटिव एनर्जी तो कुछ नहीं आता ना, ऐसा
नेगेटिव एनर्जी का
करे
कोई
तो।
संबंध नहीं इसमें. Keeping your
हाँ,
house neat and clean, in fact, is a boon
अच्छा
for
अच्छा,
creating positive energy, not for negative energy.
ओके। वो कट 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 करके कट भी कर सकते हैं क्या भैया? वो पुराने क्लोथ्स रहते ना, वो कट करना भी नहीं बोलते, थोड़े सब थोड़े लोग कट कर सकते हैं क्या? कट करके पहुंच के फेंक सकते हैं?
आप फेंक सकते हैं ना, लेकिन मैंने
हाँ,
वो आपको ये
कटिंग कर
बताया कि
सकते।
आप जितने दिन तक यूज हो सकता है उतने दिन तक यूज
हाँ,
करिए उसको, फेंकिए मत.
यूज करना।
हाँ,
अच्छा
यूज
अच्छा,
करके बाद में डाल दीजिए.
ओके। उस कुछ नेगेटिव एनर्जी तो ऐसा आने का
नहीं
कुछ
नहीं
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 है।
नहीं, ये पूरा अंधविश्वास है. जैसे अंधविश्वास में के चक्कर में मत पड़िए आप कि
हाँ हाँ,
पोस्ट
वो मैं यूट्यूब में देखे थे भैया, उसके लिए
नहीं
मेरे को थोड़ा डाउट
नहीं,
आया।
that is all humbug, that is all andhavishwas. Don't go in for that.
हाँ,
We do it
ओके,
only
थैंक।
in clean mind, do it with
हाँ,
clean sentiments, clean heart. Don't believe in
हम्म,
such things.
ओके भैया, थैंक यू भैया।
Thank you.
अक्षय जी, म्यूट भैया, अनम्यूट, अनम्यूट।
Yeah, I am audible, भैया जी?
Yeah,
या गुरु जी, मैं हिंदी में बात कर सकता हूँ?
yeah. बोलिए ना, बोलिए ना.
या मेरा क्वेश्चन ऐसा है कि जब से मैं अभी गीता परिवार से जुड़ा हूँ, अभी
हम्म,
जो भी L3 लेवल चल रहा है,
जी.
और पहले हम कैसा था कि हमारे फैमिली मेंबर्स में हम पहले से कि कैसा कि कुछ नॉनवेज वगैरह ऐसा खाते आए थे और खाते थे. तो
हम्म,
अब कैसा है ना कि जब जस्ट मेरा कुछ सर्वाइकल का पेन था बहुत दिनों से, और इन
हम्म,
बिटवीन क्या हुआ कि कुछ सर्जरी हुआ मेरा. तो
हम्म,
सर्जरी होने के बाद मैं इसमें जुड़ा हुआ और कुछ डॉक्टर्स भी ऐसा बताते हैं कि ये B12 और ये रिगार्डिंग कि
हम्म.
ये इसेंशियल है. तो ये कैसा हैंडल करे और कैसा हमारी हेल्थ भी मैनेज करे विदाउट नॉनवेज, या उसको ये करने से हम जो गीता को जो भी ज्ञान ले रहे हैं, एक
हम्म.
क्या ठीक है, इसके बारे में आप क्या बताएंगे?
देखिए, नॉनवेज खाने के बगैर लोग जिंदा नहीं रहेंगे ऐसा सोचना बहुत गलत है. World
नहीं नहीं.
over, many non-vegetarian people are converting into vegetarian. And to consider that if I don't eat non-veg, then I will become weak bodily or I will not take B12 is also a misnomer. It's not correct. B12 के
ओ,
injection आते हैं ना. You ask your
ओ,
doctor to give you a B12 injection. Many of my
ओ,
relatives take this B12 injection, those who are physically not well, because B12 they say that it comes from non-vegetarian food. It's not necessary to eat non-vegetarian food for B12. You can get injected. If there is a deficiency of B12, it can come through tablets, it can come through medicines, it can come through injections if there is a deficiency is too much. So it's not a justification for eating non-vegetarian food that I have deficiency of B12, so I will eat non-vegetarian food. This is not correct.
बट दिस इज मीन्स डेफिनेटली मीन्स, जैसा कि बोलते हैं कि भगवान अपने जो स्वामी विवेकानंद है उन्होंने भी कुछ नॉनवेज वगैरह टाइप खाया था. तो ये थोड़ा सा ये लगता है कि खाना नहीं चाहिए, दिस इज करेक्ट. बट ये पक्का ही है कि नहीं है, उसमें टच ही नहीं करना ही हमारे लिए बेटर है.
हाँ, नहीं
तो
ऐसा है. कई लोग जो whom we respect as very elevated souls, they have been eating non-veg. Bengalis, they can't survive without eating fish. It is a fact.
या
95% of Bengalis, they eat fish. It is a fact.
या
But something which has become your daily eating habit and something which you are eating because of you are getting attracted to that kind of food are two different things. As a part of your daily routine food, if you are eating that fish, like Bengalis eat, and you are eating it since your childhood, you should try to give it up. But if the B12, what you said, is a problem, then B12 can be taken care of by taking medicines, by taking injections.
Okay,
That is
okay.
not, yeah?
Yeah, that is correct. B12 we can take with injection, that is manageable. But childhood से अगर हम कुछ खाते आए हैं या और हम ऐसा नहीं चाहते कि हमें वो रिटर्न में चाहिए, लेकिन अभी हम जो भी प्रीवियसली भी 15 डेज में मंथली ऐसा कुछ जो भी रहता है वो भी हमारे लिए अच्छा नहीं है क्या?
नहीं, अच्छा नहीं इसलिए कि आप 17 अध्याय पढ़ेंगे तो आपको समझ में आएगा कि ये सब खाना जो होता है वो तामसी खाना होता है. Every food that we eat, it affects our body, our mind, our thoughts, our intellect.
Okay.
If you want to become tamasi, then okay, you can eat this. But if we are reading Gita and we want to march ahead on the path of sattvic, then it is contradictory. You are eating non-vegetarian and you want to become sattvic. It doesn't match. It doesn't match. So the path that we have now chosen, on that path, eating non-vegetarian food is not allowed, is not advisable.
Okay. Thank you. Understand.
Shri Vidya ji.
I have one question, like a person who is having lot of negative energy and is very intelligent person and wants to get more of information, but who doesn't believe the God, and a person in the house who believes the God and chants the Bhagavad-Gītā daily, for that person, whether it will be benefited for him is my first question. And the second question, the more than the positive thoughts, the negative is more coming, and whether it is the previous, that the samskar that has been brought, and which I'm not like forcing the person that he has to do it, because it has to come from his inner, like from himself, from his heart, it has to come that yes, I have to do. So till such period of realization that comes to a person, whether I can keep on chanting on behalf of that person.
See, first question first. You keep chanting your Bhagavad Gita the way you are doing now. Whether the other person in the family or in your house does not believe in God is his problem. A day may come when he will see changes in you, the happiness of your mind, the improvement in your behavior. When he sees that, probably it may affect him also and he may change, probably. If it doesn't change, it is up to him. Bhagavad Gita says you try to teach Bhagavad Gita only to those people who have some faith in Paramatma. Don't try to run after them saying that, no, you must read Bhagavad Gita, you must read. Paramatma doesn't advise this. In 18th Adhyaya, Paramatma says this. Then don't teach my Gita to anybody who has no faith in me. Okay. But you set an example with your own behavior. If you are setting an example in your family, others will try to copy you. When you get elevated yourself in your personal life, your professional life, then they will look at you as an example that yes, this person has got so much benefit after reading Bhagavad Gita. Let me also copy and let me also follow the path. This is one. And secondly, what you said? Second question was?
More than the positive, even though a person is very intelligent.
Okay, yeah. See, this does happen. When you sit for meditation also, the negative thoughts come first. The only way to wipe out the negative thought is to allow them to come. Let them keep coming. Don't stop them. Like I gave an example, I think in last session or before that, if some dirty water is coming from the tap, if you shut off the tap, that oh, bad, dirty water is coming from the tap, will it solve the problem? Will it make the water clear? No. The only way is you open the tap, let the turbid, dirty water flow totally. Then after some time, the clean water will come. Similarly is our mind. Bad thoughts come first. When you're sitting for meditation, the mind will go and sit in a mall or in some bad place here and there. Let it go. You bring it back. This may go on for some time. When the mind gets tired, the 6th Adhyaya Paramatma says this.
But for a person who is coming with always the negative thought, So at that time, it will be like we are encouraging him, okay, whatever he or she tells is correct.
Never say this. Never surrender to a person who is having negative energy. Always keep opposing. Never say that what you say is right. If you're not convinced about his logic, and you are convinced that what way you are thinking is the right way of thinking, and if you think you are following the principles of Gita, never surrender to anybody. Never. Because surrendering to such a person will mean that we are demeaning Gita. Never do that. We have to speak the truth. That Gita is like this. Whether you understand or you don't understand is your problem. I have understood and I will follow this path. So never surrender to a person with negative energy, saying that Bhagavad Gita reading, it doesn't help, and this is all only karma kanda and all that. Gita is not that. Gita is a encyclopedia of human life, how to live the life. So don't believe any such person who talks something bad about it. Without reading Gita, people start commenting on Gita. That is the big problem, you know. They don't know what Gita is.
Yes.
They consider it only as a religious literature. They don't understand what is the content of that Gita. And they start commenting on it. So why should we bother about such people who don't understand Gita and still comment on it? Isn't it?
So just praying God, like good positive thoughts, let it come to the person.
Yeah. See, it is his destiny. You can try to bring horse to the water. You can't make it to drink water. Isn't it? So you can try to teach him, try to tell him the way you want to tell. Whether to understand and grasp it and follow is up to him. You can't force everybody. Particularly when he crosses the age of 16, 18, he has his own opinion. And that mellowing down will start when he becomes 40, 45, 50.
Yes.
Then you start looking at life in a different perspective. Isn't it? So that time has to come when everybody has to realize that what I have done till now was not the right way. Now I want to change. So let that change. Let him feel himself that I have to change.
Okay.
Thanks a lot, Bhaya, for clarifying the doubts of each one of the participants. Last but not the least, sincere thanks to tech team remaining at the back end and making this event a grand success. Now it's time for the prayer. I will call upon Anjali Deshmukhji from Chembur, Maharashtra, retired from State Bank of India. Hobbies include traveling and exploring new things. Studied till M.Pharm, serving as technical assistant in L2. Joined Geeta Pariwar in March 2024. Yes, welcome, Didi.
Jai Shri Krishna to all. Many blessings on account of Guru Purnima ji. Yogesham Satchitanandam Vasudevam Vrajapriyam Dharma Samstapakam Veeram Krishnau Vande Jagadgurum Shri Krishnau Vande Jagadgurum.
Thanks a lot, Didi, for the melodious prayer. Now we play Hanuman Chalisa. Being on mute, please everyone recite Hanuman Chalisa.
श्री गुरु चरण सरोज रज निज मन मुकुर सुधारि बरन रघुबर बिमल जसु जो दायक फलचारि बुद्धिहीन तनु जानिके सुमिरौ पवन कुमार बल बुद्धि विद्या देहु मोहि करहु कलेस विकार जय हनुमान ज्ञान गुण सागर जय कपीस तिहु लोक उजागर रामदूत अतुलित बल धामा अंजनी पुत्र पवन सुत नामा महावीर विक्रम बजरंगी कुमति निवार सुमति के संगी कंचन बरन विराज सुबेसा गानन कुंडल कुंचित केसा हाथ वज्र ध्वजा विराजय कांधे मूंज जनेऊ साजय शंकर सुवन केसरी नंदन तेज प्रताप महाजगबंदन विद्यावान गुणी अति चातुर राम काज करिबे को आतुर प्रभु चरित्र सुनिबे को रसिया राम लखन सीता मन बसिया सूक्ष्म रूप धरि सियहि दिखावा विकट रूप धरि लंक जरावा भीम रूप धरि असुर सहारे रामचंद्र के काज सवारे लाय सजीवन लखन जियाए श्री रघुवीर हर्षि उर लाए रघुपति कीन्ही बहुत बड़ाई तुम मम प्रिय भरत ही सम भाई सहस बदन तुम रोज जस गावै अस कहि श्रीपति कंठ लगावै सनकादिक ब्रह्मादि मुनीसा नारद सारद सहित अहिसा जम कुबेर दिगपाल जहाते कवि कोविद कहि सके कहाते तुम उपकार सुग्रीव ही कीन्हा राम मिलाय राजपद दीना तुम्हरो मंत्र विभीषण माना लंकेश्वर भय सब जग जाना जुग सहस्र जो जन पर भानु लील्यो ताहि मधुर पल जानु प्रभु मुद्रिका मेलि मुख माहि जलधि लांघि गए अचरज नाही दुर्गम काज जगत के जेते सुगम अनुग्रह तुमरे तेते राम दुआरे तुम रखवारे होत न आज्ञा बिनु पैसारे सब सुख लहै तुम्हारी सरना तुम रक्षक काहू को डरना आपन तेज समारो आपै तीनों लोक हाकते कापै भूत पिशाच निकट नहीं आवै महावीर जब नाम सुनावै नासै रोग हरै सब पीरा जपत निरंतर हनुमत बीरा संकट ते हनुमान छुड़ावै मन क्रम वचन ध्यान जो लावै सब पर राम तपस्वी राजा जिनके काज सकल तुम साजा और मनोरथ जो कोई लावै सोई अमित जीवन फल पावै चारों जुग प्रताप तुम्हारा है प्रसिद्ध जगत उजियारा साधु संत के तुम रखवारे असुर निकंदन राम दुलारे अष्ट सिद्धि नो निधि के दाता असबर दीन जानकी माता राम रसायन तुम्हारे पासा सदा रहो रघुपति के दासा तुम्हारे भजन राम को पावै जन्म जन्म के दुख बिसरावै अंत काल रघुवर पुर जाई जहाँ जन्म हरि भक्त कहाई और देवता चित्तन धरई हनुमत से सर्व सुख करई संकट कटई मिटई सब पीरा जो सुमिरई हनुमत बल बीरा जय 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 हनुमान गोसाई कृपा करहु गुरुदेव की नाई जो सत बार पाठ कर गोई छूट ही बंदी महासुख होई जो यह पढ़ हनुमान चालीसा होय सिद्धि साखी गौरी सा तुलसीदास सदा हरि चेरा की जय नाथ हृदय महडेरा पवन तनय संकट हरन मंगल मूर्ति रूप राम लखन सीता सहित हृदय बसहु सुर भूप सियावर रामचंद्र की जय पवन सुत हनुमान की जय।
Thanks to everyone for attending this session. Knowledge gained here will be used all our life. Now we'll meet next week for the second part. Till then, learn Geeta, teach Geeta, and live Geeta in your life. Jai Shri Krishna.